Good evening, my fellow patriots. Welcome to another edition of MAGA Manifest Destiny on the MAGA Daily Digest. I am your host, Lionel Washington, and I'm going to bring you another wonderful update from the Trump 2.0 administration. Uh, let's get it started. We had Caroline Leavitt in the White House press briefing room today, and what a breath of fresh air she was. I just have to tell you, the fact that she didn't have a giant binder with pre-rehearsed questions and answers and pre-selected uh, members of the press that she was going to call on. I mean, it was complete transparency, and we haven't had that in the White House for the last 4 years. I mean, Karine Jean-Pierre could not hold a candle to Caroline Leavitt today. She stood up there as the youngest White House press secretary in history, standing toe to toe with a woke media mob that was hell bent on trying to catch her, and they couldn't catch her. They couldn't lay a finger on her. It was like we had someone in there that was speaking truth to the media mob, and we even had breaking news that President Trump was able to do some research and find out that the drones that were flying over New Jersey were actually authorized by the FAA. So, this is something that we have to celebrate. The fact that we have this tremendous transparency back in the White House. We have a White House press secretary that's not going to lie. I mean, that's got to be something to be celebrated. And so, when you look at the type of questions that were being posed to her by the legacy media, is the scope of the immigration raids going to include only criminals or people with not criminal records? And it's like, no, if you cross the border illegally, you're a criminal. And that's the bottom line. And I think that it's exactly what America voted for. This is what America voted for. We voted for law and order. We voted for border enforcement. And it seems like it's all going so fast, that the media is not able to keep up. And heck, I'm having a hard time keeping up. And I'm trying to focus on this, but it's President Trump has the wind in his sails. He's moving at a breakneck speed. It's lightning fast because President Trump learned from his last experience, y'all. President Trump learned from the last time he was in the White House that four years goes by so fast that it don't make your head spin. So President Trump has used that experience to hit the ground running this time in his administration. And so I guess my dog wants to join it. Napoleon wants to join the podcast too. So, I just wanted to say that it's been a tremendous breath of fresh air to have President Trump back in the White House, knowing that we're going to have somebody that's giving us the truth. We get the JFK files released. We get the MLK files released. We find out the deal about the drones. And the fact that it's all things that he said on the campaign trail. It's promises made, promises kept. And the fact that he's following through with this shouldn't surprise anyone. These are all things that he talked about on the campaign trail. So when you think about the fact that he's already deported 2,700 illegal aliens, we've already laid the groundwork for historic tax cuts. I mean, eliminating the federal income tax. I mean, that's exactly what America needs right now. You talk about, a lot of people, especially in the nonprofit community, are worried about these federal spending cuts. Well, number one, Caroline Leavitt said from the podium today that the Office of Management and Budget, OMB, is not going to be cutting any direct assistance programs. Let me be clear about that. The Office of Management and Budget issued a memo. They're not going to be cutting any direct assistance programs. Unless it's a DEI program, unless it's a program to fund condoms for terrorists in Gaza. Like, what is going on? How is it that we were able to spend $50 million on condoms for terrorists in Gaza? That makes no sense. Anybody that is upset about these federal spending cuts doesn't understand the breadth and depth of the waste, fraud, and abuse within our federal government. Who supports $50 million for condoms? Not me. I don't want my tax dollars going to that. It's just, and that's just one example of the ridiculous programs that we've had. We've had programs to study ACL tears on mice. It's like, there's just waste, fraud, and abuse going on. And the fact that Secretary of State Marco Rubio has suspended all foreign aid with the exception of Israel and Egypt. I mean, this should be like music to everyone's ears. We're finally putting America first. We're getting back to normal. We're putting Americans in America first. This is what the new normal, this is what normal should feel like. And I think that you really do see Democrats and Republicans actually coming together on this, because, I mean, Democrats were dealing with the same grocery prices that we were. Democrats were dealing with the same invasion of illegal aliens that Republicans were. Democrats were dealing with the same kitchen table conversations that we were. And so it's like, oh, well, has Trump lowered the egg prices yet? Has Trump lowered the price of groceries yet? It's like, well, come on. We've been putting up with the high gas prices and the high prices of groceries and inflation for the last 4 years, and now you want Trump to fix it in 1 week? Like, come on, man. Y'all can't be serious out here. Now, and if you really are worried about the price of eggs and the price of groceries, did that stop you from voting for Kamala Harris? Did it? Or did you still vote for Kamala Harris regardless of what the gas prices and the grocery prices and the prices of eggs were? So see, that's why I feel like it's disingenuous. Like, oh, when's Trump gonna fix the price of eggs? When the grocery price is gonna come down? Well, it's like, were you worried about that in November? I don't think you were, because it didn't stop you from voting for Kamala Harris. And so, when you put it all together, the transparency back in the White House, press briefing room. You have truth being spoken to the American people. And I think that it's remarkable that President Trump is able to get so much done in less than 2 weeks. And I just think that, it's a fast pace, but I think it's indicative of the experience that we have in the Oval Office, sitting behind the Resolute desk. President Trump's experience last time showed him that 4 years will go by so fast, it will be over before you know it. And we've got to get the inspector generals out of there that are going to try to harass you. You got to get everybody out of his way that's going to harass him. Fire those U.S. attorneys. Got to get him out of the way. We've got to get work done. We got to make progress. We got to make America strong again. We got to make America proud again. We got to make America great again. We got to make America safe again, y'all. I mean, and that's what this is all about. And I saw some people online complaining about the fact that we had the most senior female admiral removed from the Coast Guard. Well, yeah. It's the Coast Guard, y'all, not the Coast Welcoming Committee. She's supposed to be protecting our borders, not allowing for an invasion of illegal aliens. And so, yeah, that's why Trump fired the admiral of the Coast Guard and thank her for her service. But it was time to go. It was time for her to go. You're fired, because you can't allow 15 million illegal aliens to pour into our country and then expect to have a job. And so, and Napoleon is all for it too, huh? Napoleon. Napoleon likes the spending cuts. Napoleon likes the personnel changes, huh? So it's my French bulldog, Napoleon Douglas MacArthur. And he makes all these crazy noises when I'm not paying attention to him. So I had to have him join the podcast with me this evening, y'all. So, and I got somebody, I got some folks in the comments tonight, which is cool. Somebody, Mega T Bob says, I'm still unsure about Vivek. I feel you on that, Bob. I feel Vivek can't be trusted, and that's why he was fired. When you go after people just for, you know, who we are as Americans, yes, we have prom queens. Yes, we have people that are stud athletes, and that is our culture. And to say that, you're going to prioritize foreign workers, you're going to prioritize foreign workers, you're going to prioritize HB1 visas over Americans. That's not what we voted for, Vivek Ramaswamy. We didn't vote for foreign workers first. We voted for American workers in America first. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for merit-based immigration, y'all. I'm all for it. If you come here legally, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a professional, and you're bringing something to the table, and you have merit, we welcome you with open arms. You can, come here legally, please. We welcome that. We want to welcome foreign talent, but not at the expense of American workers, and we're not going to do it illegally. That's the bottom line. So, somebody says, Franz says that Vivek is dropping out to run for Ohio governor. I think that's a stretch. Frankly, I think there's other Republicans in Ohio, like Jim Jordan, that are more popular, that are more America first. And if President Trump didn't want Vivek Ramaswamy in the White House, that says something. That says something. I think that reveals a lot about Vivek Ramaswamy. I never really liked him. He sounds like Chat GPT. He sounds like a robot. He sounds like he's pre-programmed. I never liked Vivek. I didn't think he was MAGA enough. And, I appreciate him contributing financially to the movement. I appreciate him, getting involved in supporting President Trump. But man, how his first day on the job, the first thing out of his mouth is he's trashing Americans. He's trashing American culture. I mean, how do you get a job working for President Trump and you're trashing the American culture, Vivek? I mean, yes, we have prom queens and we have stud athletes, and that is what we do in America. That is our tradition. That is our culture, and it's not MAGA to be hating on our prom queens and our stud quarterbacks, our football Friday night lights. That is what we do in America. We play football and we celebrate our sports culture. So I don't know who he thought he was, going after the American people like that, but I'm glad he's out of the White House. Yeah, I think you're right, Bob. Trump is going to have to vet everyone that's in the executive branch. And I think that's why the hiring freeze was important. I think that's why it was important that he offered the buyout to the federal workers. I mean, there's a lot of federal workers that are so deep in the bureaucracy that comprises the deep state. That's where the deep state comes from. It's all these federal legacy workers, legacy bureaucrats that are controlling these spending programs and allowing for, President Trump to be undermined. I think that's what's causing the deep state. That's what has created the deep state. It's all these federal workers. It's all of these bureaucrats that are holding on to power, that are holding on to spending. And it's like, once again, that's how you make America great again. He cut the salaries for these bureaucrats. He cut the spending for these bloated programs. I mean, we're spending $50 million on condoms for Hamas. I mean, these were the people that went into Israel on October 7th and raped and pillaged the Israelis and even took American hostages, female hostages, raped them and assaulted them. And now the Biden administration is giving them condoms. I mean, make it make sense, y'all. So, I think that with everything that's been done, with Caroline Leavitt laying the smackdown from the White House press briefing room to President Trump pledging to eliminate federal income taxes, Lord have mercy. I mean, what more can you want? I mean, people that are concerned about the Medicaid and the Medicare budget cuts, they've got to realize that when Americans keep more of their own money, we can invest in our own households the way we see fit. You eliminate federal taxes. You got a state like Florida, we don't pay state taxes. So you eliminate federal taxes. That is 100% of your hard-earned money going back into your pocket. And that's a beautiful thing. So I appreciate y'all coming in tonight. Napoleon also wants to say thank you. Say thank you, Napoleon. Napoleon Douglas MacArthur, y'all. This is my French bulldog over here. He's just having a good old time. He's he doesn't like it. He has separation anxiety. So when I put him down for too long, he tries to jump up in my lap. So that's why he's co-hosting with me today. But I just wanted to thank everyone for joining me for another episode of MAGA Daily Digest. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, even share it. I'm trying to blow this thing up. I'm trying to do this channel for y'all. If there's something that you want me to bring up, if there's something that I missed, I'm trying to cover the Trump administration with everything that I've got, y'all. I think Trump 2.0 is a reason for all of us to feel excited about America. It's a reason for you to wake up in the morning and want to be the best that you can, knowing that you've got a president that's working hard for the American people, that's working hard to fix the economy, that's working hard to keep us safe. Like, if he's doing all that for the American people, surely we can be the best that we can be as Americans. So with that being said, I'm going to close it out for tonight. I want to say thank you to everyone that joined and everyone that contributed in the comment section. That's great. That's the first time that we've had this kind of action. So I encourage more of you to join me. I'm hosting every night, every weekday night, 11 p.m. Set your clock to it, whatever you got to do to remind yourself that at 11 p.m. the MAGA Daily Digest is going live on Facebook. I want you to join me. And I wish y'all nothing but the best. And I'll be back here tomorrow night. But until then, if you ain't on the Trump train, you better get off the tracks. Thank you and good night.